Hello, I'm Jeffrey Ballesteros and I'm here to present the benefit of using computer. First is increase your productivity. A computer increase your productivity. For example, after having basic understanding of a word compressor, you can create, edit, store, and print the documents easily and quickly. Sabi dito, pag naintindihan mo ng gumawa ng word compressor or WPS, mas madali ka nang makagawa ng documents at the same time ma-edit mo na din ito. And after mo naman makagawa ng documents, maghahanap ka na lang ng printing store para ma-print ang iyong mga documents. Next is connect to the internet. I connect you to internet that allows you to send emails, browse content, get information, use social media platform, and more. Dahil sa internet ay mas napapadali tayong makakuha ng informasyon para sa paggawa ng research. At dahil din sa internet is nagagamit natin ang mga social media platforms like Facebook, TikTok, IG, Messenger, Zoom, Google Meet at marami pang iba. At dahil din sa internet is nakakausap natin at nachat-chat natin at napaparating natin ang mga gusto nating sabihin sa ating mga magulang at mga loved ones. Dahil din sa internet ay napagpatuloy natin ang ating pag-aaral na yung school year na to. Next is storage. A computer allows you to store a large amount of information. Sabi naman dito is ang computer ay may malaking amount ng storage para makapaglagay ng maraming information at documents, kasi ang amount ng storage ng isang computer is 500 gigabytes pataas. At syempre, hindi naman mawawala ang pagda-download ng games dito at mga social media platforms na ginagamit sa araw-araw para makapag-connect with friend para makapaglaro din. Next is ang
Organize data and information is not only allow you to store data but also enable you to organize your data.
sinasabi naman dito na pag-organize ang data at information, mas mapapadali ang paghahanap ng information or documents. Katulad ng paggawa ng acronymized na letter. Kunwari, pag ang iyong documents ay letter A, nasa unahan ito at pag letter Z naman nasa huli ito. Dapat acronymize ang paggawa ng documents para mas madaling hanapin. Next is ang your ability. It help write good English if you are not good at spelling at grammar. Sinasabi dito, pag hindi ka masyadong marunong sa spelling or grammar, makakatulong ang iyong cellphone para i-improve ang iyong pag-i-spelling, kasi makikita mo dito pag mali ang iyong spelling, mag-o-autocorrect ito sa tamang spelling. At sa grammar naman, pwede kang manood sa YouTube para alam mo ang pagkasunod-sunod ng iyong sinusulat at para mas gumanda ang pagsusulat mo ng grammar.
Next is assist the physically challenged. It can be used to help physically challenged. Example, Stephen Hawking who not able to speak, use computer to speak.
It also can be used to help blind people by installing special software to read what on the screen. Sinasabi naman dito na ito ay nakakatulong sa mga may kapansanan o mapadali ang kanilang ginagawa, katulad ng mga PP or mute na tao. Bigyan nyo sila ng cellphone or computer para ma-type ang mga gusto nilang sabihin at iparating. At para naman sa mga bulag at nasabi na din sa PDF na mag-install ng special features para mabasa ang mga nasa screen at ito'y marinig nila at maintindihan. The last one is keep you entertained. You can use computer to listen to music, watch movie, play games, and more. Sabi dito is keep you entertained by watching movie, listening to song, and playing games. Pero para sa akin, mas ma-entertain ako pag kasama kong manood at makinig ng music ang aking mga magulang at play with friends, kasi mas masaya pag kasama mong maglaro ang mga kaibigan mo ng online games, kasi pwede kayong mag-asaran at magkasiyahan. Yun lang at let's proceed to the next presenter.
Good day everyone, I am Jmar D. Barria and I will going to discuss the 4 basic function of computer. There are necessary function of computer that needs to perform by the computer itself for completing all tasks. Not all PC owner knows about the specific function of the corresponding computing device performs. Basically, a computer is an electronic machine used for processing and storing data given by the user. There are different types of computer from micro to supercomputers. Some have many functions with complexity, while basic computer has only 4 functions. And at this time, I will discuss the basic function of computer system as well as the function of each component. The first one is the input function. The input computer function accepts data from input devices and sends it into computer processor. The raw information entered into a computer from input devices, meaning to say the input function is the process of entering any type of data and instruction into a computer system by using the input devices such as keyboard, mouse, microphone, etc. and in order to receive user signal to other computer. We use input devices to input the data into the computer by typing the words and sentences through the keyboard, by scrolling and clicking the buttons through the mouse, and recording audio and video through the microphone and camera. By using these input devices, we can perform the basic tasks in computer, like calculation, viewing the image and videos, listening to the audios, and preparing the PPT documents, and also to browsing the internet, and all the basic function of a computer user is initiated in putting the data into the computer through the input devices. Since a computer is a characteristic machine that accepts the input data as per user, needs in organized manner for processing another way to inputting the data through command or encoding the internal software. Number 2 is the processing data. This processing function is the second step that offers the process and handling of the input data instructed by the users. To process the user's input data, computer needs a central processing unit or the CPU. Data processing is the most basic function of a computer. So tinawag siyang basic function of a computer dahil siya yung taga-process bago ito maipunta sa output. The operation of data as per given instruction. So dito sa data processing unit ay kailangan may instruction or procedure para maisagawa ng maayos. This function also performed by the Central Processing Unit or the CPU, which consists the electronic device that can read and execute code instruction to perform a wide range of tasks. From performing complex mathematical calculation to sorting the entries of the database, the CPU can be seen as the brain of computer, accepting input data and instruction, executing commands, storing result in memory, and sending data to output devices. And also it controls the sequence of operation and the use of data storage. Number 3, the output function. The output function is the process of producing the useful information for the user after processing the input data. After processing the input data, the CPU auxiliary processor or the process function send the process data into the output function or default into the configured output devices. Each output devices present the process data in different form. For example, a printer and speaker displays and print and place are processed into the data respectively. Output, that means the result generated by the computer once the processing or CPU is completely based on the instruction given by the users. The output is the form of documents, videos, audio, graphs, image that you can see form the output devices such as computer, monitor, printer, speaker, headphones, and screen projector. The fourth and last function of a computer is the data storage function. One of the most function of a computer is a data storage. Besides storing data that has been input through peripherals, computer also need a way to save the result of data processing. To store data and information, a computer uses two types of components are temporary and permanent. The first one is the temporary storage. It is a components are used to store data temporarily. Data stored in a temporary storage component is erased when the system is shut down. RAM is a compulsory temporary storage component. A computer uses the RAM to store the running application and their data. The second one is the permanent storage. Computers are used to store data permanently because the data is stored in permanent storage component is not erased when the system is shut down. The hard disk is most common permanent storage component. Usually, all computers have at least one hard disk to store data because the other is its common permanent storage component of devices through external. In a simple words, the working of a computer mainly have four steps. The step 1 is accepting the data from input devices like keyboard, mouse, and microphone. Step 2 is transfer data to RAM, memory, and CPU. Step 3 is processing, analyzing, and storing the data as per instruction. Step 4 is the last. After processing, sending the result to the output devices like monitor, printer, and speaker. In short, the information and data are given to computer using input devices in a discrete form. The input devices accept and transfer the data to the CPU. After that, the data is handled or processed by the CPU and is stored in a memory of the computer and may get the output result of our instruction through output devices. And I conclude the given information is the basic function of a computer. Almost all digital computer works in the way only, as well as the various software and hardware unit also play a significant role and function to the whole computer.
So, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ismael B. Cabansag, and I'm the third reporter for the Group 3. And my topic is all about the characteristic of computer. So, ano nga ba ang characteristic? It's something that describe a person or an object. So, let's go for the characteristic of computers. And the first characteristic of computer is the speed. So, speed. Alam naman natin na mabilis ang computer. Convenient siya, madaling gamitin. Kaya niyang gawin yung isang bagay o yung trabaho within an hour without any errors. Kaya niyang gawin yung 1 million times per second. Ganon kabilis ang computer. So the second characteristic is its accuracy. So alam naman natin ng computer ay tama yung mga binibigay nitong data at informations. Mas mataas yung percentage na tama at accurate yung mga lumalabas na data at information or na makakalculate na mathematical problems. So, if nagkaroon man ng error, nasa tao na to o nasa users na to kung inaccurate yung nalagay niyang data at informations sa computer. Kaya nagkakaroon ng error. So, the third characteristic is the diligence or ang pagiging masipag ng computer. Ang computer ay hindi napapagod. Hindi nawawala sa concentration. Kaya nitong gawin yung isang bagay o isang trabaho within an hour without any errors. Kaya nitong gawin yung mga bagay ng mabilis. Kahit ilang oras pa yan nang hindi nagkakamali. Maliban na nga lang kung kamali or inaccurate yung nilagay na information or data ng users or yung nagmamanipulate ng computer. Magkakaroon talaga ng errors at difficulties dito. So the fourth characteristic is the versatility or ang pagiging magaling ng computer sa maraming bagay. Hindi lamang magaling ang computer sa iisang bagay, kundi marami pa. Katulad na lamang pwede mong gawin ito sa PowerPoint, presentation, gumawa ng payrolls, mag-calculate ng mga mathematical problems, at paggawa ng mga bills, mga checklist, at marami pang iba. Maraming kayang gawin ng computer, but we need to develop our computer skills, pag-aralan ng mga to upang magawa ng tama yung mga yon. At ang ikalima namang characteristic ng computer ay the power of remembering. So, alam naman natin na computer ay may storage. So, pwede natin ilagay dito yung mga data at information or na calculate natin ng mga data or informations na kailangan natin sa mga susunod na gagawin natin. Pwede mong i-store dito yung mga data at informations kahit ilang taon pa to, as long na hindi mo sila i-delete. So, the sixth characteristic of computer is computer has no IQ. Kailangan nito ng users or tao mamanipulate dito or magpapagana dito. Kasi nga bagay lang to. Hindi katulad ng tao na may isip na kaya nitong gawin yung gusto niyang gawin. Mas napapadali ng computer ang mga trabaho natin. Click dito, click doon. Mabilis at accurate ang mga binibigay na information ng computer. Nasa gumagamit na ito, nasa user na to, kung ano yung sequence, kung ano yung mga ilalagay niya sa data at informations, kung nga ba yung plano at yung sequence ng gagawin niya upang mag-gather yung information at i-store ito sa computer. Kasi ang computer ay isang bagay lamang. Kailangan rin ito ng users o gagamit upang gumana at magawa yung mga dapat nitong gawin. And the seventh characteristic of computer is computer has no feelings or have no feelings. Alam naman natin na computer ay bagay lamang. Ang computer ay walang experience, walang knowledge. Kailangan ng users upang gumana ito. So, ang computer ay hindi napapagod. hindi nawawala sa concentration ka ako nga. Hindi katulad ng users na napapagod kasi nga tao at may buhay ito. So sa madaling salita, ang computer ay walang pakiramdam kasi nga bagay lang sila. At ang last at ang ika-8 na karakteristik ng computer ay ang storage. Computer has a built-in memory na kung saan pwede natin i-store yung mga data at informations dito. Kahit abutin pa ito ng ilang taon. Pwede rin tayo maglagay ng data at information sa flash drive or floppies. Kung sakaling ma-delete man yung nasa computer, ay meron pa rin tayong copy nito sa mga ibang device na pwede nating isaksak or isalpak sa mga ibang computer. At dito, i-open. So, ang computer ay may mga karakteristik na nagpapakita sa kanya kung ano siya. So, that's all for the karakteristik. So, let's go on for the history of computers. So, history of computers. The first counting tools was used by the primitive people o ginamit ng mga sinaunang tao. For example na lang dito, gumamit sila ng bato, uling, bones, stick, at kahit ano pa upang gamitin sa kakalculate ng mga mathematical problems. Katulad na lamang, for example, sa uling, sa isang kuweba. Dito nila ginuguhit or nilalagay yung mga informations at data o yung mga nangyayari sa panahon nila upang makita ng mga future generations kung ano nga ba ang nangyari during that time. So, habang tumatagal, habang nagde-develop yung pag-iisip ng tao o yung kaisipan ng tao, nagde-develop din yung paggamit ng tools or ng mga counting tools sa mga panahon. So, one of the tools that they developed during that time is the abacus. That was invented by Chinese people 4,000 years ago. So, ang abacus ang pinapaniwala ang birth of computer. So, Jeffrey, palagay dito yung image ng abacus. Yan, thank you. So, ang abacus ay makikita natin it's a square na may mga bakal sa gitna at may mga beads. So, yung beads sa gitna nung abacus ay minamanipulate ng operator o pinapagana niya ito upang mag-calculate ng data at information katulad na nga lang ng arithmetic calculations. So, pinapaniwalaan ng abacus ang birth of all computers. Na sa panahon ngayon ay may mga gumagamit pa rin dito, katulad na lamang sa bansang China, Japan, and Russia. So, the second tool that they used during that time is the Napier's bone. That was invented by John Napier. So, pinangalan niya ito sa kanyang apelyido na Napier's wheat. So, ang Napier's bone ay ginagamitan ng 9 different ivory or 9 different types of bone with marks. Kung saan ginagamit ito sa pag-multiply, pag-divide at kung ano-ano pa. So, ang Napier's bones din ang kauna-unahang gumamit ng decimal point sa pagkakalculate ng mga data at informations. So, yun lamang po ang aking report. Thank you.
So, I'm the reporter of History of Computer. First, I will discuss Pascaline. What is Pascaline? Pascaline is also known as arithmetic machine or adding machine. It was invented between 1642 and 1644 by a French mathematician philosopher, Blaise Pascal. It is believed that it was the first mechanical and automatic calculator. Pascal invented this machine to help his father, a tax accountant. It could only perform addition and subtraction. How does Pascaline work? So, the value of a number is added to the accumulator as it being dialed in. By moving a display bar, the operation can see either the number stored in the calculator or the complement of its value. So, what exactly does Pascaline looks like? Pascaline is a wooden box that has a 36 cm long, 13 cm wide, and 8 cm high. It's like a shoebox. Step reckoner or Leibniz wheel. It was developed by a German mathematician philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz in 1673. He improves Pascal's invention to develop this machine. It was a digital mechanical calculator which was called the step reckoner, as instead of gear, it was made of fluted drums. How does the step reckoner work? The machine performs multiplication by repeated addition and division by repeated subtraction. The basic operation performed is to add or subtract the operand numbers to the accumulator register as many times as desired. Difference engine. Difference engine in the early 1820s. It was designed by Charles Babbage, who is known as father of modern computers. It has a mechanical computer which could perform simple calculation. It was a steam-driven calculating machine designed to solve tables of numbers like logarithm tables. So, what can difference engine can do? Like modern computers, the difference engine had storage, that is, a place where data could be held temporarily for later processing. And it was designed to stamp its output into soft metal, which could later be used to produce a printing plate. So, what is the advantage of difference engines? An advantage of the methods of infinite difference is that it eliminates the needs for multiplication and division, and allows the values of polynomials to be calculated using simple addition only. Analytical engine. This calculating machine was also developed by Charles Babbage in 1830. It was a mechanical computer that used punch card as input. It was capable of solving any mathematical problems and storing information as permanent memory. So, how analytical engine works? It was programmable using punch cards, an idea borrowed from the Jacquard loom used for weaving complex patterns in the textiles. The engine had a stores where numbers and intermediate result could be held, and separate mill where the arithmetic processing was performed. Analytical engine has two parts. The lower level control mechanism, controlled by massive drums called barrels, and the higher level control mechanism, controlled by punch card.
Tabulating machine. It was invented in 1890 by Herman Hollerith, an American statistician. It was a mechanical tabulator based on a punch card. It could tabulate statistics and record or short data or information. Next is differential analyzer. It was a first electronic computer introduced in the United States in 1930. It was an analog device invented by Vannevar Bush. It could do 25 calculations in a few minutes. Next is Mark I. Began in 1937, planned by Howard Aiken. It could perform calculation involving large numbers. It was a first programmable digital computer. In 1944, Mark I computer was built as a partnership between International Business Management and Harvard. That's all. Thank you.
Hi sir, hi classmates, I'm Geraldine Carbonell, the next reporter of Module 2, and I'm going to discuss the generation of computers. So what is generation of computers? A generation of computers refers to the specific improvement in computer technology work time in 1946. Electronic code circuits were developed to perform the counting. It replaced the gears and other mechanical parts used for counting in previous computing machines. In each new generation, the circuit becomes smaller and more advanced than the previous generation circuit. The miniaturization helped increase the speed, memory, and power of computers. These 5 generations of computers which are described below. Ang henerasyon terminolohiya ng computer ay isang pagbabago sa teknolohiya na ginagamit ang computer. Sa una, ginagamit ang generation term upang makilala ang iba't ibang terminolohiya ng hardware. Sa ngayon, ang henerasyon na kinabibilangan ng parehong hardware at software na magkasamang bumuo sa iisang sistemang computer. The first one is the generation of computers. The first generation, 1946 to 1959, computers were slow, huge, and expensive. In the computers, vacuum tubes were used as the basic components of CPU and memory. These computers were mainly dependent on batch operating system and punch cards. Magnetic tape and paper tape were used as output and input devices in this generation. Some of the first generation computers are: first one is the ENIAC, or Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. Ito ang pangunahing all-purpose electronic computer na nilayon ni William Matchley at John Eckert noong 1942. Ang susunod ay ang EDVAC, or Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer. Ang EDVAC ay isa sa mga pinakaunang electronic computer. Ito ay itinayo ng Moore School of Electrical Engineering, Pennsylvania. Ang ikatlo naman ay ang UNIVACI, or ang Universal Automatic Computer. Ito ang unang pangkalahatang layunin na disenyo ng electronic digital computer para sa mga aplikasyon ng negosyo na ginawa sa United States. At ang ikaapat ay ang IBM 701, unang komersyal na sistematikong computer at ang unang serye na produksyon ng mainframe computer na inihayag sa publiko noong April 27, 1952. At ang panghuli ay ang IBM 650. Ang magnetic drum data processing machine ay isang maagang digital computer na ginawa ng IBM noong kalagitnaan ng 1950. Second generation of computers. The second generation's 1959 to 1965 was the era of the transistor computers. These computers used transistors which were cheap, compact, and consuming less power. It made transistor computers faster than the first generation computer. In this generation, magnetic cores were used as the primary memory and magnetic disk tapes were used as the second storage. Assembly language and programming language like COBOL 6 and Fortran and batch processing and multi-programming operation system were used in these computers. Some of the popular second generations are IBM 1620. Ito ay inihayag ng IBM noong October 21, 1959 at ibinenta bilang isang murang sistemikong computer. The next ay ang IBM 7094. Ay isang pangalawang henerasyong transistorized na version ng naunang IBM 709 vacuum tube framework computer. The third is the CDC 1604. Ang 1604 ay kilala bilang isa sa mga unang komersyal na matagumpay na transistorized na mga computer. Next ay ang CDC 3600 ay isang magandang computer na may mga smoke glass panel at isang solid at nakakamanghang itsura. Next is the UNIVAC 1108. Ay ang unang multiprocessor machine sa serye ng mga na may kakayahang magpalawak ng 3 CPU at 2 IOS. The third generation of computers. The third generation computers use integrated circuit ICs instead of transistors. A single IC can pack huge number of transistors which increase the power of a computer and reduce the cost. The computer also become more reliable, efficient, smaller in size. This generation computer use remote processing, time sharing, multi-programming as an operating system. Also, the high-level programming languages like Fortran 2 to 4, COBOL, Pascal PL1, Alcol 68 were used in this generation. Some of the popular third-generation computers are the IBM 360 series ay isang pamilya ng mga mainframe computer system na inihayag ng IBM noong April 7, 1964. Next, the Honeywell 6000 series ay mga rebadged na version ng 600 series na mainframe ng General Electric na ginamit ng Honeywell International Incorporation. The third is the PDP, Personal Data Processor, ay isang serye ng mga computer na binuo ng digital. The fourth is the IBM 370 Model 168. Ang sistema ng 370 Model 168 at Model 158 ay parehong inihayag noong Agosto 2, 1972. The last is the TDC 3161 ay isang maagang electromechanical analog computer na ginamit para sa torpedo fire control sa mga submarino ng Amerika noong World War II. So next is the fourth generation of computers. So what is the fourth generation of computers? 1971 to 1980. Computers use very large integrated scales USLI circuit, a chip containing millions of transistors and other circuit elements. This chip made this generation compute more compact, powerful, fast, and affordable. This generation used real-time, time-sharing, and distributed operation system. The programming language like CCP, DBase were also used in this generation. In the fourth generation, here are some of the popular computers. First is the DEC 10. Ang mainframe na pamilya ng computer ay ginawa simula noong 1966 at itinigil noong 1983. Second is the Star 1000. Ito ay isa sa mga makina na gumagamit ng isang vector processor upang mapabuti ang pagganap sa naaangkop na mga pang-agham na aplikasyon. Third is the PDP-2. Ay isang serye ng mga 16-bit na microcomputer na binenta ng Digital Equipment Corporation mula noong 1970 hanggang 1990s. Next is the Cray-1 supercomputer. Ang unang Cray-1 system ay na-install na Los Alamos National Laboratory noong 1976. The last is the Cray-XMP supercomputer. Ay isang supercomputer na disenyo, ginawa at ibinenta ng Cray Research. So the last is the fifth generation of computers. So what is the fifth generation of computers? The fifth generation 1980 till date computers, the VSLI technology was replaced with ULSI, Ultra Large Scale Integration. It made possible the production of microprocessor chips with 10 million electronic components. This generation computer used parallel processing, hardware, and AI, artificial intelligence software. The programming languages used in this generation were CCP, Java, NET, and etc. At dito sa huling henerasyon, narito ang mga popular computers. First is the desktop. Ang desktop ay isang computer display area na kumakatawan sa mga uri ng mga bagay na maaaring makita sa ibabaw ng isang physical na desk kabilang ang mga dokumento. Ang pangalawa ay ang laptop. Kahit na ang Auburn 1 ay kilala bilang unang laptop, ang konsepto ng isang portable computer ay binigay noong 1968 ni Alan Kay. Ang ikatlo ay ang notebook. Ang notebook computer ay isang personal na computer na disenyo upang maidala or madaling maidala. Ang ikaapat ay ang ultrabook. Ultrabook ay mas maraming features na pangnegosyo kaysa sa mga tablet at madali rin itong maidala or dalhin kung saan man tayo pupunta. Ang panghuli ay ang Chromebook. Ang mga Chromebook ay mga laptop, detachable at tablet na pinapagana ng Chrome OS. And that is the end of my topic about generations of computers.
So, we are here in the last classification of computer, which is the classification on the basis of size. There are 5 kinds of the classification on the basis of size. The first one is the supercomputer, mainframe computer, mini computer, microcomputer, and the workstation. Supercomputer is the fastest and most powerful type of computer. Supercomputers are very expensive and are employed for specialized applications that require immense amounts of mathematical calculations. Supercomputer is the very fastest and powerful and expensive type of computer for processing data. Supercomputer size and storage capacity are also huge, can occupy huge premises, designed to process vast amounts of data in the short time with high productivity. These are especially made to perform multi-specific tasks. Therefore, many CPUs work in parallel order on these supercomputers. This function of a supercomputer is called multiprocessing or parallel processing. So the next is the mainframe computer. Mainframe computer is a very large and expensive computer capable of supporting hundreds or even thousands of users simultaneously. Mainframe computers are multi-programming, high-performance computers, and multi-user, which means they can handle the workload of more than 100 users at a time on the computer. The storage capacity of the mainframe is enormous, with high-speed data process as well as handling hundreds of input and output devices at a time. The mainframe is a highly efficient computer capable of simultaneously solving complex calculations and continuously for a long time. These computers have several microprocessors that have the ability to function the data at too high performance and speed. So the next is the mini computer. Mini computer is a mid-sized computer. In size and power, mini computers lie between workstations and mainframes. Mini computer is a digital and multi-user computer system with the connection of more than one CPU. Thus, many people can work on these computers simultaneously instead of a single person. Also, it can process with other accessories like a printer, plotter, and etc. Mini computers are the medium type of computers that have more functionality power and are expensive than microcomputers. On the other hand, the size, storage, and speed of mini computers are large but less than the mainframe and supercomputers. And the next is the microcomputer or personal computer. Today, we are using many computers at home is also the most common microcomputer. With this invention of the microprocessor in the year 1970, it became possible to use computers for people personally at a low cost and reasonable price known as digital personal computer. Microcomputer has three types: the desktop computer, laptop computer, and the palm-top computer. So the first one is desktop computer. A desktop computer is a personal or micro mini computer sufficient to fit on a desk. And the laptop computer is a portable computer complete with an integrated screen and keyboard. It is generally smaller in size than a desktop computer and larger than a notebook computer. And the last one is the palm-top computer or digital diary and notebook or PDA. Palm-top computer is a hand-side computer. Palm-tops have no keyboard but the screen serve both as an input and output device. So, we are here the last part of the classification on the basis of size. So, the last part is the workstations. Workstation is a terminal or desktop computer in a network. In this context, Workstation is just a generic term for a user machines in contrast to a server or mainframe. Workstation is a special computer designed for technical or scientific applications, intended primarily to be used by a single user. They are commonly connected to a local area network and run multi-users operating systems.